Hello, world of YouTube, and welcome to another list video. This is a companion list to one of the ones I dropped last month. These are 11 games or parts of a franchise that I don't think need a sequel for one reason or another. And this video is going to lay out those and why. Like the last list video, this will not be in any particular order. These are just ones that I happen to think of that I feel like are worth stopping continuations of. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let's go! I mean, we can all agree Halo had a good run, right? Like, they had a successful first trilogy, they had a great prequel game, a great spin-off game. That's more than even Gears of War could ask for. And I know I'm not alone when I say Halo 4 was really underwhelming and didn't really get me hyped for a new trilogy. No disrespect to 343. I think they've done a great job at remastering those original games, and they're continuing to do so by putting the Master Chief Collection on PC.
And I personally don't think Master Chief really has anywhere left to go. His character really didn't have anything to do with 4, and I feel like any continuation of that would just kind of, I don't know, be pointless. Let's talk in the new Super Mario Brothers games. They don't really serve a purpose anymore. They were fun when they first came out because they were this nice throwback to the old style of Mario in a time when it was very focused on 3D. It was a fun, charming little 2D platform. And you could even bite that its sequel was a little bit of an expansion on that. But while decent, was already getting a little derivative. And the Wii U game, which is now already being remade for the Switch, feels wholly unnecessary, especially now that we live in a world of Super Mario Maker, where Super Mario Maker can just take the place of that. You know, even if Nintendo just released, like, expansion levels, where they themselves make levels within that engine, it kind of serves the same purpose. I feel like people don't play these games for the story anyway. They play to see what interesting levels Nintendo has cooked up. So if they just make their own levels in the packs of the game and release them to the public, that would serve a similar purpose.
Because I'm a potato.
Honestly, I fucking love Portal. And, if you didn't catch my co-op video I made last year, I also love Portal 2. I think it's one of the best sequels to any game ever made. It enhanced and expanded upon the gameplay mechanics of the first one. It had a tight co-op mode, and its story tied together everything in that little area and concluded Shell's arc fantastically. That's why we don't need another one. I could care less if they tried to introduce a new protagonist or, you know, tried to make new other Portal mechanics. I feel like if you were to add more Portal mechanics, you would detract from how tight both of those games feel. You could keep making, like, co-op adventures. That's fine. But I don't need a Portal 3. I don't need a game to continue the story or add anything else to the lore within this really intimate feeling franchise. I think it's good with 2 games. That's all it needs.
Die, monster!
You could really put any of Konami's franchises here and it would have the same effect, but for me personally, if you didn't know, I'm a pretty big Castlevania fan. And with Bloodstained right around the corner looking like a shining star that has been the shitstorm that is the Castlevania franchise as far as games go in recent memory, I really think it's safe to say we could put Castlevania the games to bed. You can keep making the anime. Anime's good. You know, make your pachinko machines all you want, Konami. Just you are not Capcom. You cannot pull a Mega Man 11 out of the Castlevania franchise. I just don't see it. You've been fucking with the lore in stupid ways, and I'm not interested to see what you could do next. Like the new Super Mario franchise, I don't need to see a new Guitar Hero game for the same reasons, and partially because we have Clone Hero. There's a huge community of gamers coming together and making charts for Guitar Hero still to this day, and they're reaching their own meme community. Like, it's a really touching subculture to look into every now and again, just to see what they're doing. You know, and I feel like because of the advent of Clone Hero, we don't really need another Guitar Hero game. I mean, hell, the franchise itself was really getting stagnant before it tried to switch things up and ultimately fail in doing so. I know Rock Band's still a big thing for the Xbox, and that's neat. But I don't need another Guitar Hero. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just feels like the epitome of what Smash could ever reach. It's pleasing the fans of the hardcore scene and the fans of the casual scene. Except for the absence of Poker Floats. I'm really upset that Poker Floats isn't in Ultimate. But, honestly, I don't think they could do anything more with Smash to make it an even better experience. We're at peak Super Smash Brothers right now. Everyone thinks that, you know, the next game is peak Smash, except for Brawl. But I really think we are at peak Smash. I don't think there's anything else they could do. There's so much fan service in this game that it's insane. And honestly, I'm sure Sakurai doesn't want to make another Smash, and I would be perfectly alright with that. You get out the Sonic Mania guys make a sequel if they can really pull some interesting shit together and reimagine the classic Sonic wheel again. But Sonic Team needs to stop. They reached a really nice apex with generations and colors, and I like the idea of their Create Your Sonic OC game, but from what I understand, that was incredibly underwhelming, and I just don't think Sonic Team has any gas left in the tank. They haven't for a long time. They've just gotten really lucky and made some genuinely surprising games, and I feel like they should really just kind of call it quits here and leave it to the Sonic Mania guys.
There's no way you're taking Kyrie's heart!
Like I said in my expectations video, I have zero investment in the continuation of this story. I haven't for a long time, and I feel like if this franchise were to go on, it would be like watching someone who peaked in high school try to relive and recapture that glory, and it would just continue to be sad. I know that this franchise still has its fans, but I'm just not one of them, and I have zero interest in seeing it go any farther, personally. Like Super Smash Bros., I think we recently reached peak Tetris with Tetris 99. I mean, they've already had spheres, and they've had ports on literally everything ever made. But I don't think you need to reinvent Tetris anymore. Tetris Battle Royale is the farthest Tetris can go at this point. I'm not saying you shouldn't port Tetris over to anything else. Tetris is one of those magical games, it's like Solitaire. It's always going to be around now because it's so simple. But I don't think you need to try and reinvent Tetris anymore. We did have that kick-ass Puyo Puyo Tetris game a few years back, though, too, so I could be very, very wrong about this. I adore BioShock and BioShock Infinite, and to a lesser degree, BioShock 2. I think they're three really fun, compelling stories to follow, with a lot of tragedy and drama, with a great game built around each of them. However, I don't think we need more shooters like this. I know we're not going to get a BioShock sequel. We might get a reboot in like another 5-6 years. But around the time BioShock was really flourishing, we had diet BioShock games. Games that were not as tightly designed, with a story that was not as deep as it thought it was trying to be. And we don't really need any of that. I don't mind shooters when they're fun. I don't mind shooters when they're philosophical. And some games can also do it well outside of these, like Half-Life. But we don't need a whole lot of this. It's nice when it's done sparingly and achieves this nice melding of both fun gameplay and well-told story. I feel like we hit this nice stride earlier in the decade with beat-em-ups, with games like Castle Crashers, Scott Pilgrim, and Double Dragon Neon being fantastic expansions upon the core mechanics seen in classic beat-em-ups. But I think that post those games, we haven't had a whole lot of new fun shit come out of the genre, and it's been very stagnant. And honestly, I just feel like it should stay dormant for a while until we can find new ways to make the genre fresh. This is the least, specific choice for the list. That's why it's last. But I don't know. I feel like we need to focus on other types of games before we make new beat 'em ups. We need a reason to make the beat-em-ups nice again. I think that was why we hit that stride. You know, we had great developers making fantastic games out of the genre. You know, they were fun, they were flashy, they were stylistic, and they had a lot to bring to the table. And I feel like that was kind of lost. And I feel like we should just leave it be for at least a little while until we can find something new to tap into that. Either that nostalgia for the old days or find a new way to expand upon it.
And that was the list. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully if you don't agree with my opinions, you at least understand the argument that I made. Next list video might be one of a couple. I have a film one I'm working on. I have a music one working on, and I have a couple game ones I'm working on. Like I said, I'm not just trying to make lists that are always my favorite of a thing. That'll still happen, but I'm trying to mix these more thinking exercise ones into the mix as well. That way I can have a little more variety with the types of lists I'm bringing to you guys. But if you enjoyed this, hopefully you tune in for the next video I drop. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.